I can see some others coming. Oh, Gemma's coming. It's exciting, isn't it? Thank you, Gemma. There's some new children at the back. Who'd like to go down and get them? It has indeed, I can see that. Oh, a big child. You're allowed to sit on a chair, Ben, I think. What did you do?
Yeah, I worked like this bit on the really pointy bit of my table.
Oh, dear. Yes, mums are welcome too.
Really?
Yeah. Mums, dads, whoever brings the kids, they can all come. They're all children of God. Would you like to sit on a seat or the floor? Oh, I'm glad I've got a lot of people today because I've got a hard question to ask in a moment. The adults, when you go out to Sunday school or to Kids Club, the adults are going to be talking about Samuel. Now, you might know Samuel. You might know some of the stories of the little boy Samuel who lived in the temple with Eli. You don't know that story? Well, somebody's going to have to tell you that story because it's a beautiful story about a tiny little boy who listens really hard to God, but he doesn't recognise it's God. He thinks it's the priest that's talking to him. And our story today for the older people is about an old man, the same old man that was that little boy, and he's still listening to God. Now, it's easy to say listening to God, isn't it? But I'm going to ask the hard question. How do we listen to God? Indy?
In the Bible?
We can listen to God as we read the Bible. We can hear God talking to us. Did you have something else to say? You were going to say the same, were you? Listening in the Bible. When you hear God's voice,
we can listen to everything around us, including different dimensions of which I haven't travelled to, which is pretty weird because I've travelled to a lot of them.
Oh, okay. Well, we can listen very hard to things that are happening in other dimensions. We can listen very hard, I think, to our grandparents as well, if we're still lucky enough to have them. Yeah, you've got some, I know them. But my question was, how do you know it's God? Now, we've got two answers so far, but do you hear God like you hear me standing here talking to you? Not usually, and you don't usually see God when you hear him. So this is a bit hard to understand, isn't it? How do we know it's God when we're talking or listening?
Because we know it's him for his sound.
By the sound of his voice. You're a very wise girl, aren't you? I think so. We know by the sound of his voice. I can tell you sometimes I'm hearing a voice. I can't see the person. I'm hearing the voice and I know it's God because it's a still little tiny voice I've got to listen really hard to.
You can't know it's God, but you have to trust it is.
My goodness, I don't know who's been talking to you two. Does this wisdom come from Dad? Beg your pardon? You think it in your mind. You have to test. Okay, well, you have to test it out whether it's God's voice or not. And that's not always an easy thing to do, is it? You can think about what you read in the Bible. And if it fits with that, if it's being nice to somebody, then that's it. You know it's from God. If it's telling you to do something horrible, do you think it's from God? No, because God doesn't tell us to do horrible things. He tells us to do nice things to people. Sometimes it's almost like a thought. You know, you should help that person, or you should do this for that person. And I know that's God talking to me. I think it's probably time to go. I don't know whether Miss Janet's going to read a story of Samuel or, well, you might now. Are you people, would you like to go off to Kids Club? That's all right, that's fine. You can go too.